Oh, hey. It's Ashley Kirkwood back with another episode of the Ashley Nicole Show. I'm so excited you guys are here. We're going to be live for a little bit, y'all. Now, check this out, y'all. Check this out. Our ticket prices for our tour double in approximately 90 minutes. But I wanted to give you all this live video because I'm going to be talking about 3 shifts that I need to make in order to hit 7 figures, 3 shifts that I had to make in order to hit 7 figures. And I think you all are going to get a lot of value from this particular content. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We're doing a late night live. And if you feel it in your heart that you need to be at the Your First Corporate Offer Tour, then I want you to make sure you get your ticket, because in 90 minutes flat, those rates are going to double. Until then, I'm going to give y'all some game. I'm going to teach you guys some things that I think you'll get a lot of value out of, and we're going to have a good time. So if you are someone who's like, I want to know what's the shifts? What are the real deals? What's going on? Like, how am I going to actually grow my business in 2025? Like, you do not need outdated strategies. You need to know what's working right now. Then you want to let us know. And if you are interested in coming to the Your First Corporate Offer Tour and you don't even know what that is, you're like, Ashley, what are you talking about? You're doing a Your First Corporate Offer Tour. What does that even mean? That means that I'm about to come to a city near you, and I'm going to teach you how to build a $25,000 offer, how to grow your business predictably, which has nothing to do with you having a large audience. It has nothing to do with you having a large team. It's literally going to be like the things that we teach, anyone with expertise can do. I'm not going to say anyone could do it. It's going to be so easy. No. Anyone with expertise can do this, okay? Anyone with expertise can do this. So I don't want you all to get it twisted. You can actually do this. And y'all, my phone's gonna die. Let me plug it up. Let's see if that helps. No, that did not help. Anyone with expertise absolutely can do this and can make it work for them. Let's see if I have a phone charger somewhere. All right, Instagram. It may not. If my phone dies on Instagram, just know I'm live on YouTube, okay? So Instagram, comment YouTube and join me live on YouTube, okay? All right, let me get into this video. All right, so let's get into it. Number 1, guys, here's what I wish I would have known before I even started my business, before we even generated the revenue that we're generating now. I wish I would have known that it's never going to be one thing. It's never going to be 2 things. It's never going to be 3 hacks. It's never going to be like a simple process to the top. It's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be a journey. Okay? Oh, let me see. Because my phone is definitely about to die. And I was live on Instagram. I'm going to tell them to join us on YouTube. General intermission real quick. Okay, now, for those of you, I'm getting some comments like, hey, what's the tour? What does it mean? Let me just show y'all this real quick, and I'm going to be right back.
Last year, we went on tour, and let me tell you, it was a movement. Every city sold out. Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, DC. Experts showed up, locked in, and walked away with strategies that transformed their businesses into high-ticket offer powerhouses. And this year, we're doing it bigger, better, and more impactful. Because in 2025, it's not just about landing speaking gigs. It's about building a corporate offer that brings in $25,000 or more per client. And we're going to help you do it live and in person at the Your First $25,000 Corporate Offer Tour. And listen, if you've been struggling to land high-ticket corporate deals, this is your moment. So let me break it down. What really happens at this tour? This is not another feel-good event where you take notes and go home overwhelmed. No, this is a live, in-person workshop where we build your corporate offer in the room. You will create a ready-to-sell $25,000 corporate offer that clients actually want. You will learn exactly how to pitch, price, and position your offer so companies and clients say yes. And you will leave with the confidence and strategy to start selling this offer as soon as you walk out the door. Last year in Chicago, we had attendees sign clients in the room. One entrepreneur came in with no corporate clients and walked out with a deal on the table. In Atlanta, we met a woman who was landing government contracts but felt stuck. She came to the tour, restructured her offer, and now knows how to pitch one-to-one without going through the lengthy RFP process. Her business was able to grow. In Houston, we came right after a storm, and instead of canceling, we showed up and created a safe space for experts to learn, connect, and get breakthroughs in their business. We didn't just talk sales strategy, we talked mindset and then gave them a plan to secure corporate deals and did cash infusion strategies so that they could leave knowing exactly what to do to get more money in their business. In Dallas, we went deep into brand positioning. And in Dallas was where we were introduced to none other than Pastor TD Jakes. Yes, real connections happen as a result of the high caliber experts that came to the room. And let me tell you about DC. This was the largest stop of the tour, sold out first. There was a line out the door to get in, and we did an exclusive bonus session just answering questions before the event even started because the demand was that high. This year, we are adding New York. And as of right now, New York has almost the most people on the wait list. Look, there are only 50 seats per city. On the day tickets drop, it is only for $99. If you want to sell high ticket corporate offers, if you're tired of guessing, tired of spinning your wheels, trying to figure it out alone, this is your chance. Come and spend one day with me in person and walk out with a bulletproof corporate offer that's ready to sell. Whether you're selling to huge companies, whether you target small business clients, or anyone in between, if you sell services, have an expertise, you need to be at the Your First Corporate Offer Tour. Get on the wait list now, or if tickets are already open, get your seat, because once they are gone, they're gone. I'm coming to a city near you, and if you don't see your city, fly to the nearest one, because this is not a movement you want to miss. I'll see you in the room.
Okay, wasn't that amazing? Give me some love in the chat. We already have our venues. We already have everything going on. That is such a good question. Why only 50 tickets? Why not have hundreds of tickets? No, this is a tour. It's supposed to be intimate. It's supposed to be up close and personal. We do an event every single year, which is our large event. And at that event, we have hundreds of entrepreneurs in the room. This is an intimate experience where I'm coming to your city to work with you, teach you, and to get to know you and meet you if that's at all possible. And our contracts are already signed. So it's really about space in the different cities. So we've been planning this for about 6 months, you guys, and you all have seen the rollout. You know what goes into this. I'm super excited about it. New York is their general tickets, I think, were sold out. I think they have 1 or 2 tickets left. New York, though, let me tell you about New York. If you come into New York, I'm excited for you. But New York still has VIP tickets left. So New York still has, it can still hold like 9 more VIP attendees. All right. But New York sold the most tickets. They technically sold out of their general tickets first, but we still had 9 VIP tickets in New York. So we're going to sell a few more tickets in New York for that very reason. And y'all, at midnight in 90 minutes, prices actually double. Okay. Prices double because I know y'all need a reason to buy now. I know you do. So I ain't even gonna make it hard for you. I'm gonna make it easy for you. Okay. Prices are about to double in 90 minutes. That is a great question, Siobhan. I'm so glad you asked. Is this a good event for people who are just starting in their business? Yes, it is a great event because you need to start the right way. Even tonight, you guys, and let me show you all. Let me share my screen. Let's see. So even tonight, y'all, we're going to be talking about the hidden revenue trap. And we're going to be talking about 3 client shifts that unlock 7-figure enterprise contracts. And really what we're talking about is this: 3 shifts to 7 figures, 3 shifts to 7 figures. So 3 shifts that unlocked 7 figures in revenue, 3 shifts that unlock 7 figures in revenue. Okay. And when I say 7 figures, I mean, because that could be anywhere from 1 million to 100 million. I'm talking about like your first $1 million in revenue. I feel like I sat back and I thought about tonight and I was like, okay, so what are the 3 shifts that will actually unlock 7 figures in revenue? If I look across all of our clients who we've helped to hit that goal, if I look at our own business, what were the things that actually helped us to shift to that mark? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, in between giving y'all this game, here's what I need you to do for me. You can say thank you by literally sharing this video out. If you share this video out to 3 people, just comment 3 in the comments. I would appreciate it. I'm always showing up and giving you guys value. Share this video out. Also, if you have your ticket to a tour, tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? Because we want this place packed to the brim. We want every entrepreneur who can to get more value. So that's what we want you all to do. And as a reminder, at midnight tonight, that price goes up to $198. So if you buy your ticket while we're on this live, comment purchased so that I can celebrate you. Okay. So hidden revenue traps. Now let's get into it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes here. First off, this is me and my husband, Chris. We own a company called Speak Your Way to Cash. We want to see you win. We actually started our business because I was a lawyer, y'all. So I started as a lawyer. I worked at one of the largest law firms in the world. I was generating. I'm so used to being an entrepreneur. I was generating revenue. I was paid a $300,000 plus salary to work at a firm called Kirkland & Ellis. Actually, my first firm was Kirkland & Ellis. My second firm was McDermott, Will & Emery. And when I was at McDermott, Will & Emery, my total compensation package was negotiated to be about $300,000 in revenue. And that included bonuses and some other perks that I received. And one of the things that I will tell you guys is this. When I left that job, even though I was highly paid at my job, okay? Y'all know the vibes. I started my business and acted like my time wasn't valuable. Has anyone ever been there? If you've been there, comment been there. Like you do well in corporate, you have a director level job in corporate, you may have people who work for you in corporate, and then you come over to entrepreneurship and act like you don't know nothing. Like you don't know top from down. Like you don't know what's going on. And that was a huge, huge, huge issue for me. Okay. And so my first business was a law firm. And what was happening in my law firm was that people were coming in like, Ashley, I'm a speaker. Can you draft this contract? And the contract they would have me draft would be, hey, I'm getting paid by a Fortune 500 company here. And it would be for like $500, $1,000. $1,500. I'm like, ma'am, you're going to pay me more to draft the contract than you're getting paid on the contract. I'm not going to draft that agreement. Instead, let me take this contract, call your client and renegotiate the terms of the deal. And when I kept doing that over and over, and I was getting people tens of thousands of additional dollars, my husband was like, you do know they keep saying you're such a good lawyer, but what you're doing for them isn't necessarily legal work outside of the drafting of the contracts, the filing of the trademarks, the legal strategy, that's separate. You renegotiating a contract and getting someone more money is almost more like an agent. So of course, they're thinking you're the best lawyer in the world because they're paying for legal work, but they're getting an agent for free and you're not getting paid for it. And he's like, you need to get paid for it. You need a separate company that does that. You need a separate company that teaches people how to structure their deals, how to get more money. And I knew how to do that because at this time, when I started my firm, I started traveling around to speak. And also, I'm very used to aggressively advocating for a client because I worked for billion-dollar companies. So our customers were the largest companies in the world because we charged some of the most money in the world at the firms that I worked at. They were just like top tier firms. Billable rates were up there. And so that is how Speak Your Way to Cash started. My husband came up with the name. We did one event with 10 people in a conference room, and that was our first Speak Your Way to Cash event. And so let me just pause there and say, it is not lost on me at all that in one day, we've sold almost 300 tickets to an event. Like, I vividly remember working my butt off to sell 10 seats to an event. So I just want to pause here and just show gratitude for all of you buying tickets to the tour, for all of you who believed in this business, who believe in this mission. I'm not so big, quote unquote, that I don't recognize the pure amazingness of this movement that is Speak Your Way to Cash. And I understand that with our marketing strategy and all the things that we've done, it still takes a ton of God's grace for me to even be here and doing that. And so I literally looked at my husband today. We celebrated 13 years of marriage last week. I hope he's not watching because he's going to be like, how do you not know? But, and I looked at him today and we were taking a walk around the city. We went to a museum, African-American History Museum. We're going to a museum tomorrow. And we're going on like day dates every day for the week of our anniversary. And I was like, babe, we just sold over 200 tickets to an event in a day. Like, do you remember how hard we had to work to sell 10 tickets? Like we've sold 265 tickets at this point, if not more, because every minute we're selling tickets. Some of you who are watching right now are about to buy your ticket. It's just like, it keeps happening. And so that's not lost on me. And I also very, very much remember I started my business August of 2018. From August all the way until December, we made $800. $800. I want to say that because I feel like there's some of you right now who feel like, well, I'm just starting out and my business isn't that big and I don't know if this is going to work. And you are looking at a woman who made $800 the first few months of her business. That next year, we made six figures. Within 4 years, we were making over $1 million a year. The next year after we had our first $1 million year, we made over $2 million that year, got on the Inc. 5000 list. And this year we're applying again for the Inc. 5000 list, and we're going to make the Inc. 5000 list again. Like, I just want you all to understand, like, I think that we put people on these pedestals and we're like, oh, that's not a real person. Like, of course she could do it. There are tons of lawyers who start businesses that do not generate money, period. So being a lawyer does not mean you're going to automatically make money in your business. There are people who are brilliant, more intellectually astute than me, who do not make millions of dollars in their business. In fact, I was listening to a woman today who has a $1 billion business, and she said only 2% of women-owned companies ever cross the $1 million mark. But even though I'm in that 2%, I also relate to the entrepreneur who's like, I made $800. So we ain't that different. Okay. We're not that different. I'm going to tell you guys some of the shifts that we had to make. And I hope that it'll be helpful so that you could do it in an even shorter period of time. And I think that some of these shifts are going to make. So the first shift that I want to talk about, is actually this one right here, the mindset shift. Let me explain this. And if you need us to send you the link to get your ticket to the tour, just comment tour. We'll send you the link. But let me explain this. Your money follows your mind. Okay? What that means is I became $1 million CEO before I made $1 million as a CEO. Does that make sense? So your money follows your mind. There are some of you right now who are like, my revenue goal is to make $100,000. Let me tell you what happened to me. My very first, what's your revenue goal for 2025? Drop it in the comments. Safe space. I mean, it's the internet, so, not that safe, but like I'm safe. If that makes sense, like, I'm not going to ride you, but like, internet trolls are real. My first revenue goal, y'all, was $300,000. Why was that my revenue goal? Because I made $300,000 in my day job. So that was why that was my revenue goal. But here's the issue. Because my revenue goal was $300,000 and we were able to do that, I think the second full year we were in business, we crossed that over. If we did that the second full year in business, I stayed a $300,000 to $500,000 company too long, because at the point that we made $300,000 a year, I had already hit my revenue goal. And so in my mind, anything above that is gravy. And the problem with that is my money couldn't follow my mind, because my mind was saying we're already doing better than I thought we would do. Now, I don't believe in you having goals that are like maybe toxic to your health, in that if you don't reach it, you're so sad and you're angry and you're upset. But I do want you to 10x your revenue goal and see how that feels energetically for you. And when I say energetic, I don't even mean like, I don't mean anything creepy or weird by that. I mean, if you were to say out loud, my goal, Jones Girls Consulting, is $1 million by the end of this year, how does your body feel when you say that? Because when I tell myself I want a $100 million company, my mind originally was like, that seems so unachievable. But if I really wanted wanting a $100 million company has nothing to do with me actually working towards one. So you have a revenue goal, which is like a want. But once it becomes a guiding light for your business, then the way you move is very different. So if I want something, that's like, oh, I want that. That'd be nice. I don't care if it happens or not. But you can have desires. Okay. You can have desires. But the only way you actually are going to show your future that you're coming for it is by having a plan. So the first mistake that I made was not having a goal of making $1 million or more in my business, and specifically having a SMART goal, making it specific, making it measurable. Okay, I don't remember what A stands for. But like, it needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, you need to have an action plan behind it. And then the truth is, even when you create, let me see, what does SMART goal stand for? Y'all, I be doing this stuff in real time. So one of the things that you need to make sure that you're doing is not just, oh, I want to make $100,000. How many units of my product will I need to sell if I'm going to make $100,000 this year? So it needs to be specific, measurable, achievable. Now, achievable is, here's how I interpret SMART goal, right? Specific, $1 million is specific. Measurable, how are you tracking your progress, right? So if you need to make $1 million and that's like $85,000 a month, if you're at $40,000 that month, are you going to do something? Are you going to do something differently in order to achieve that goal? Alonda, if you want to upgrade to the VIP ticket, then, and you already have a ticket, let us know. Otherwise, go get your general ticket. And immediately after you buy your general ticket, it'll show you the page to upsell to a VIP ticket. So you just buy your general ticket first, and then you can upgrade to a VIP ticket. Okay. So let us know, Alonda, if you already have your ticket, we'll send you a message to get it, or we'll just DM you the link to upgrade. And if you already have your ticket, let us know what city, and then we'll just send you the upgrade link for that city. So here's the thing. Measurable. Are you tracking your goals? I wish I could show y'all this. I don't know if I can, because proprietary information, etc. Let me see how I can show it to you. I think I have a way I can show you guys. Do y'all want me to show y'all how we track some of our goals? If you want me to show you, comment yes. If you want me to show you, comment yes, because I don't think I've ever shared this publicly. But I just be giving game on YouTube. But I'm gonna try to share this with you guys on here tonight, because we're hanging out till the ticket prices double. We are kicking it. Now listen to me. You need to track. Can I go a little bit deep on this tracking point? I know we got other points to hit, but I really feel like entrepreneurs do not track their goals. And I'm telling you, I'm going to give you an example. So y'all know right now we're selling the Your First Corporate Offer tour. Now, we did this tour last year. When I knew that we wanted to sell out on day one, I asked my team, okay, we sold 50% of the tickets on day one last year. That's what we did last year. So I was like, okay, how many people were on the wait list last year? And then they told me. And I was like, okay, great. Let's set a goal to triple the amount of people that were on the wait list from last year so that we could sell out on day one. Okay. Now, if we could sell out on day one, the only way that we could develop the plan for doing better than last year was by looking at last year's data. If that makes sense, comment makes sense in the comments. So one of the things that I want you all to get very comfortable doing is I want you all to get comfortable tracking all of your data. Now, let me bring an example home, because I see someone on here who is like, oh my goodness, but what should we do? How is this going to work for me? I'm pre-revenue right now. I'm not making the money that we want to make in our business just yet. What should I be tracking? Okay, great question. If you are not yet generating revenue in your business, but you're trying to, meaning you're pitching clients, that's what you should be doing. You are making posts on social media, that's what you should be doing. Then what you should be tracking is how many posts do I need to make per week in order to book a sales call? If last week you booked no sales calls and you made 20 posts, then this week you need to try making 40 posts. Because clearly 20 is not the number that you need to post in order to book a sales call. If you pitched 300 people and didn't get a sales call booked, then clearly you need to pitch more than 300 people to get a sales call booked, or you need to analyze your pitch. So you need to look at your subject line. You need to look at your open rates. How many people are opening the emails? You need to get granular about your data. So all of us have data that we could be tracking. Let me tell you some other data you could be tracking. How much time am I spending on social media without actually making a post? So if you go in your Apple phone and you're saying, okay, we've spent, I've spent over 4 hours a day on social media, but I haven't made a post. Well, then you need to be tracking that. And then you need to figure out, okay, well, how can I not do that again? Because what I need to do is get more sales in my business. And sales is not just about numbers. It is also about connection. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are tracking as much as you can. Like, you really want to be tracking as much as humanly possible. Okay. You want to be tracking as much as humanly possible. And literally that's going to help you to make some good decisions. Now, I found something that I'm going to show you guys. This is how we track some of our launches, because there are some people who are just like, okay, well, I'm trying to track, but it's not working, whatever. And they're not tracking the right data. So let's take a look at this. when we do launches, we track our launches. Okay. We track our launches. So I'm glad that you mentioned webinars. So this was one of our virtual launches. And one of the things that we tracked, of course, is total revenue, which is different than cash collected. Because I don't know if you all know this, a lot of internet marketers don't show this, which is why we have our Behind the Build episode. We try to give you guys realistic business knowledge and information so that you really know how this stuff works. There are some people who will, oh, I don't know if it'll let me, oops. I don't know if it'll let me zoom in. But there are some, oh, there we go. There are some people who are like, okay, well, I'm going to say I had a $5 million launch. And I'm like, okay, that's great. That $5 million launch, though, would go over here. That would be over here, total revenue. That doesn't mean that was the amount of revenue that they collected. The amount of revenue that they collected may be extraordinarily different. And that's why we track this number over here, which is cash collected. So I recommend that if you're going to do a launch, you don't just track total revenue, you also track cash collected. Then you want to know how much did you spend on advertising to make that amount of money. Then you want to know what is your net profit on that particular launch. And this number is still a little bit inflated because we're really just tracking cash collected ad expenses. We're not tracking the team expenses that go to this. Now, if you want to get super, if I can go a little bit deeper, comment deeper in the comments and we'll go even deeper on this. Because I don't want to go too deep. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, everyone's at different levels in business. But some of you, we have people in our audience that already make multiple millions. And then we have people in our audience who haven't made their first dollar. Like it's no shade. So to go a little bit deeper, if you wanted to track how much of our team's time was spent to make this much money, we would look at the hourly rate that we pay each of our team members. And we have all of our team members bill their time, meaning they tell us how much they spend on each of our launches, how much they spend working on different projects, how much they spend on admin tasks. We will look at how much each of them spent on this particular launch in terms of hours of time, multiply it by their hourly rate. And then that would give us our true net profit for this particular launch, because it'll tell us what percentage of our team's time was spent to generate this revenue. But other things that we track, how many people registered for free, how many people registered for VIP, how many people showed up on day one, what was the height, what was the lowest point on the Zoom call. So that's down here. We also look at how many were on at the very, very end of the launch. So we're tracking all of this. And then there's even more stuff that we track even below here that I can't show you guys. But in our mastermind, we actually give them this. This is a living form. So it has all types of coding in it so that it automatically populates things. It tracks a million other things even below here. We give this to the Speak Your Way to Cash mastermind. So when you're in my mastermind, and this is not a pitch for it because it's not actually, we don't take people year round. We take applications year round, but you have to be invited in. And one of the things that we do with them is we will show them behind the scenes of our launches. So they're getting behind the scenes of our tour launch. We share our numbers. We share the real numbers. Hello, somebody. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm just going to sip my water. As y'all know, everything y'all see ain't real. Amen. So we share the real numbers and, we share the good and the bad. Every launch isn't going to be a 6 or 7 figure launch. And we have had both. And so there are some things that I learned, but a big part of it was I had to make sure my mind was right. And here was a big mindset shift that I had to have. It was this. Everyone talks about how much money they want to make in a year. No one talks about how much money they want to spend in a year, because we're so aspirational. We think that if my company makes $1 million, I'll personally make $1 million. And that is not the case, y'all. That is just not the case. And so y'all, this hair is so heavy. I'm going to take my hair down so I can get comfortable and last through the rest of this launch. I'll be doing these creative styles because my husband loves them, but I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is totally hurting my head. Braids they can be so heavy. But when I really was like, okay, I'm going to have $1 million business, I'm going to make all this money in my company. What I did not realize I was simultaneously saying was that I was willing to spend millions of dollars. Like our expenses some months is $100,000. Our payroll, $40,000 to $60,000 a month, depending on what we have going on. Our expenditures, we may spend $200,000 this month because we're in the process of paying off Speak Your Way to Cash Live. And so that is a huge business expense. Paying off this tour, another huge business expense. And so my mindset had to stop, and it had to shift from how much money do I want to make to do I have the stomach to spend millions to? Do I have the stomach to spend the money that I'm claiming I want to make? And then of course you have to invest in like coaching and getting the information you need, or you don't. And if you don't want to invest in coaching and all that stuff, that's fine, but just be prepared to grow slow. We grow faster than most because we invest more than most. We spend more on team, we spend more on all types of stuff. So that's a big mindset shift. The other shift was understanding that I am not my business. So what I may not buy personally doesn't mean I shouldn't buy it for my business. I think that so many of us think about, they think about like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. And it's like, yeah, okay, so what? Like as a CEO, a CEO is a job title. Like I work in Speak Your Way to Cash as a CEO, which means I have a fiduciary duty to make sure my business thrives. So I personally may not want to hire. I personally may not want to split, take a pay cut so that I can spend more money on team development or whatever. I personally may not want to do a lot of things that I have to do in business, but that doesn't mean I don't do it. Because it's not about what I want. It's about what is my obligation as a CEO. I personally would rather not spend $300,000 on coaching this year. Personally, I mean, I don't want to write those checks, but what is my fiduciary duty as a CEO? What do I need to learn? What do I need to understand? What do I need to get better at? I had to just grow up. I had to really grow up, and I had to understand that my role as a CEO required my mind to not be employee mindset. It required me to have the CEO's mindset, the true entrepreneur's mindset. I was not going to get guarantees. So that's number one. Number two, the client shift from selling to everyone to filtering for premium buyers. This is a big thing. How many of you have less than 100,000 people on your email list? Comment less. How many of you have less than 100,000 people on your email list? Comment less. Now, if you have less than 100,000 people on your email list, y'all, then you definitely need to make sure, okay? You definitely need to make sure that you are selling to premium buyers. You cannot be selling to everyone. And the biggest issue that entrepreneurs have with this, and I know it because entrepreneurs feel it in their hearts. They're literally like in their heart of hearts, just like Ashley, if I niche down, I'm losing a part of myself. I'm losing a part of my creativity. It won't work. If I sell to corporate, but I just focus on Fortune 500, or I just focus on the Inc. 5000 list, or I just focus on companies that are medical device companies, then I'm going to lose all this revenue. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. That's great. That's great that you think that. So how many of the people that you're worried about losing paid you last month? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, yeah. You're like, okay, I'm going to lose all this revenue. How many of them people paid you last month? And they're like, oh, well, they haven't paid me yet. I'm just worried that if I do this, then da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, are you solving fake problems right now? Like, is this not a problem that you're solving? Like so many times, entrepreneurs literally generate fictitious circumstances to solve when it's not even a real issue. Because the truth of the matter is, if someone from a company outside of the companies that you've decided to focus on came to you, what is physically stopping you from taking their money? If you can do the service, nothing. When I say niche down literally just means I'm going to publicly focus on one target audience. That doesn't mean that I won't attract other audience members. We predominantly serve Black women entrepreneurs, but we also have male clients. We also have clients who don't identify as Black. We also have clients who don't identify as women. We have clients who identify as gender nonconforming. We have all kinds of clients. However, our public marketing efforts focus predominantly on servicing and showcasing who happens to be like 80+% of our client base. That doesn't mean that we can't take additional services from other people. And so many times we're just stressing ourselves out about things that are a non-issue. Like it's just not a problem. It's just not a problem right now. So if you want to serve, okay, Sarah came to me and Sarah said like, okay, Sarah was like, okay, well, I want to work with you. Take Sarah's money. Just make sure you can deliver the service for Sarah. So you have to have a client shift. And here is the biggest, this is the biggest part. And this is what I learned. I got disciplined about this. When I knew it was time to raise my rates, y'all, I wouldn't make no big announcement. I would just go online and I would change the price. Now, I raise my rates after a show of increase of value. So the more client data I get that something works and that we can keep that ROI like it's always going to be worth 10 times whatever you pay for it with me. That's my goal. And so if that's the case, and I'm seeing like people are getting astronomical results and they're paying $300-$400, then yeah, let's raise that rate. Now and this is what, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is what most people are not going to tell y'all. They're not going to tell y'all this. Here's the truth about your prices. You can outprice your market. This is why it's important to know who your market is and be confident in that. And if I'm honest with you guys, there was a time where I was like, dang, I don't know if I can serve that market. Like maybe they're too experienced for me, or maybe they won't find value in what I have to say. And I was telling myself all of these limiting things, and that just was not the case. And sometimes you need to be really good as an entrepreneur at separating feelings from fact. So I may feel like this is out of my depth, but my resume says it's not. I may feel like that audience is maybe too good for me, or too good for what I offer, or they wouldn't find value in it. But that's not what the facts say. The facts say they're in my DMs every day. The facts say that, we're an Inc. 5000 company. The facts say we've generated over $6 million in revenue since starting our business. The facts say so I just got to make sure that my feelings aren't louder than my facts. And there are some people that outprice themselves, like they overprice. One thing you should never do, you should never be like, oh, they got money, I'm gonna charge them more. That is the quickest way to lose me as a client and as a referral source, because I have found that people do that. If I find that people are doing that to me, I am done. Like I literally just recently had this happen and I was just like, oh, that's great. You keep that service. You keep that service. I have served $1 billion companies. I have served 8-figure CEOs. I have served celebrity clients. I have served all these different people. And guess what? The rate is the rate is the rate. I typically send people landing pages with the rate. I'm very transparent about my prices. My VIP day is $50K. That's the price on the landing page. We have a service that's like a chief strategy officer service. It ranges from $6,000 to $20,000 a month. That's the rate on the landing page. I don't care if you are Obama. The rate is the rate. Now, if there is something that they need me to do that goes above and beyond the set cookie cutter services that I have, then we can add on to the rate for that. But I'm not going to charge one person $1 million for something because I think they got it, and then another person $2,000 because I think they don't. This is why you need to get clear on what you're selling, for what rate, and to who. I believe in what we call productizing your offers. So literally making it like, when you go into a grocery store and you're about to buy like sugar, you just take it off the shelf and that's the price, and you can see the price and it's clear. That is what I mean by productizing your offers. You want to buy a trademark from me? It was a flat rate, $3,500. You want to be on our legal subscription? Great, $6,000 a month or $15,000 a month. Which package you want? And it was on my website. You don't need to do a call with me for that. I don't need to pretend, because here's why. And I really want you all to get this. So I'm going to harp on this for a little bit. The rate doesn't matter for real. If they're the right customer, you have the right offer, the rate does not matter for real. Okay. The rate does not matter for real. So the rate is not like the prohibitive thing. And if someone asks you your rate now for speaking, that's a really good question. That's a good question. You all drop your questions in the comments. These are great questions. Should you put your speaking price on your site? We had an FAQ on our speaking site, and under that FAQ, it said, what are your typical rates for services? And we said, if you want a junior presenter, the rates would start at $8,500. And that was when my associate for my law firm would go out and do speaking engagements on our behalf. So when they didn't have our rate, what we would do is she would go out and do the rate virtually for a lower rate. So when you are a consultant and you are a speaker, and this is why y'all need to come to the Your First Corporate Offer Tour, because ain't nobody telling y'all this game. So you can actually have other contractors. She was a full-time employee, but you can have other contractors who go out and do it for a lower rate because they're they're contractors, they're one-off, and then you'd sell that as a junior consultant going out and doing that particular engagement. And then we would say for senior consultants, it starts at $20,000, but we'd like to talk to you to see exactly what you need because we have a variety of packages that could serve you. That was good because then they could see right off bat, oh, okay, if I don't have this, then I probably shouldn't book a call. So there's that. Did you always market the rate? I don't have them on my website. Okay, this is a great question, Shivani. You do not market the rate. You market the service, but you don't hide the rate. Okay. What's up, Siobhan? Welcome to the tour. Welcome to the tour. Woo, 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 woo. All right, y'all. Ticket prices go up in 54 minutes. 54 minutes, and y'all gonna be on there paying double. The price doubles in 54 minutes. Okay. So I want to make sure that you all get your tickets. Yes, congratulations. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so here's the thing. This is very important. Shivani. And I'm so glad you asked this question. This is such a good question. I never market the rate. The rate is not what I market. I market the service. I just never hide the rate. So for the tour, if you look at our marketing, it's like, hey, you're going to learn this, you're going to learn that, you're going to learn that. And if you looked at some of our carousel posts, they actually answer different objections that people have to coming to the tour. And so one of the things that we would talk about is one of the objections that people would have is I've already secured a $25,000 corporate offer. So one of the things that you would see on our page was a post where we actually said, hey, if you have already landed a $25,000 offer and you feel like you shouldn't come to this tour, you're wrong. You should come. Here is the reason why. All right. Okay. So that's the reason why. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Jamila. Can't wait to see you at the tour, girl. So we would market our services, but then when people would ask the rate on some of our flyers, it would just say, you get your ticket for $99, but the price doubles at midnight. So that is something that you can do is like, you market your services, but you just don't hide the rate. Don't hide the rate. I don't market the rate, like get this trademark for $2,500 unless it's a sale or that's a part of the reason that would actually make them pull the trigger. I market the service, but when they are in my DMs or when they're actually looking to book a sales call, that's when I tell them the actual rate. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. So you got to shift from selling to everyone to really selling to people who, I don't want to say deserve it, but selling to people who can help you out. And you want to narrow your list. Now, if you're selling, hey, Fiona, nice to see you. Thanks for supporting the YouTube page. I am live. Yes, girl. And I hope you got your ticket to the tour. Okay. I don't know what city is near you, but I want to see you there. If you love our YouTube, then you'll love the tour. I want to tell you guys this too. Ideally, if you're selling B2B, you want to narrow your audience so much so that you have every single person who can possibly buy from you on one list. So if I sell to medical device companies, you guys, I want every single medical device company on one list. That's called prospecting. If I'm selling to accounting firms, I want every accounting firm in the Midwest on one list. If I'm narrowing it by accounting firms in the Midwest. Now, if you're selling to individual clients, it's going to be a little bit more challenging because I may not be able to get every Black woman entrepreneur on one list because there's not a way to really sort by that. But then I want to know, where are all the places where Black women entrepreneurs frequent? What are all the places where I can reach entrepreneurs? How do I run ads and target entrepreneurs? I want to be very clear on who I'm marketing to. And then when you write your copy, you should be writing your copy for the different personas that are in your client base. So for instance, I know we got the 7-figure business owner. I got to write some copy for her. I know we have the person who just landed their first contract, but they want to do it again and again and again. I got to write copy for her. I know we have speakers and consultants who are already landing contracts, but they're getting paid less than $5,000. I got to write copy for them. So I would look at all the phases of your customers and then make sure you're writing copy for them. And that's how you're going to market what you sell. And then you're going to need a sales process. So you got to really do the client shift. Okay. The other thing you need to do is the offer shift from confusing menus to a clear client journey. Now, let me see if I can find, y'all want to see some more behind the scenes? If you do, drop BTS in the comments. So one of the things that we used to do is at every single launch, and my husband thinks we need to get back to this. And we probably do, because whenever he says something, it just really does help us. It really does help us. Okay. It really, really does. So one of the things that we used to do back in the day that we don't do as much now, but that we do need to probably do a little bit more of, is we used to actually show people the client journey. And when we would show them the client journey, what would happen is people were able to kind of see themselves inside of our client journey, which was great. And there's a couple of different ways that we show this. Now, this one is old. This is one of our old client journeys. I may be able to find a more recent one, but this is an older one. But I'm going to show you guys this one. So instead of having like a million different offers, and now it's even, this is an older one. So I'll walk you through an older one, and I'll see if I can find a more recent client journey slide deck. But here it is. So we have this client journey slide deck. You start off as a self-starter. You're watching our YouTube. You're listening to our podcast. You're reading the Speak Your Way to Cash book. You're in the free group. You're coming to a free event. You're doing something like that. Then you become an explorer. This is when you join the membership, or you take a course, or you come to the live event. Then you become a leader. This is when you're in the mastermind. Back then it was called the Academy, or you're a private client. So you work with us in a VIP day or something like that. But this is a client journey. So people can say, okay, right now I'm a self-starter. And on my launches, I would actually say, okay, where my self-starters at? Where my explorers at? Where my leaders at? And what some of my corporate clients have done to bring it to the B2B side, which is where I started, is they would say, if they sold leadership training, they would be like, maybe you're a leadership enthusiast. Right? Enthusiast. And you just bring me in to do some one-off consulting. That's level one. Now you're a leadership champion, and a leadership champion brings us in to do training every single quarter. And so they sign up for our 4-part leadership training service. And then you become a leadership advocate. And at this point, you're licensing materials for your leaders. You're having us train the trainer. You're doing, so this works no matter who you are. When our revenue started to grow, it grew when we started showing people the journey that they were on versus us just being someone they bought a course from. It's like, no, you're not a course buyer. You're a cash lead. You're in our community. I wish I had time to go into the psychology of like having a name for your community, but that works B2B or B2C. And it's a game changer. And honestly, you guys, if I could be 100% real tonight, comment real, because I am someone who thought that I couldn't build community. I was just like, it feels mushy. Like, I'm really good at, when I learned that I could run ads and generate revenue, I'm like, I'm going to learn how to run ads myself, because it's very technical. It's very practical. It's very like, you learn these things, you run these ads, and then leads come in. And then once leads come in, they come to the launch. Like, it's all technical. It's a lot of back end tech. But community was not technical. It was kind of emotional. And it involved creating like a safe space for people to see themselves higher than they are. And it also involved getting them to like communicate with each other, getting them to do business with each other. I am really, really, really big on our community spending money with one another. So I'm huge on like, if you come to one of our Speak Your Way to Cash live events, like our live events at the end of the year, and you get to the mic, I'm telling you, hey, tell everybody in the room what you do. You know what I mean? Like, people have made $50,000, $60,000 by coming to our live event for 3 days, networking with other people in the room. And I'm not the type of person to be like, you can't say that. Don't talk about what you sell. Like, no, our community makes a ton of money together. I've referred tens of thousands of dollars in contracts to people in our community that I couldn't take, and didn't even ask for a kickback. Like, didn't even say like, hey, let me get 10% of that, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying we won't in the future. I'm just saying we have not, because that's a part of the community that we built. I think one of the ways that you know you've built a good community is, are they breaking bread with more than just you? Are they breaking bread with one another? Are they comfortable breaking bread with one another? Are they able to all do good business together as they spend additional revenue with one another? So those are all things that that we really look at and we really think about when building out our community. I'm trying to see if I have another example of how we've simplified it, because now we essentially have 3 levels. And the way that we do it now, the way that we do it now, the way that we exemplify it now, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but if I am able to find it, I would not mind showing it to you guys. I don't think it's in here. But what we do now is we basically have a level, like when you're starting out, you may be in our free group or reading our book. And then level 2, you join the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership. Level 3, you join the Speak Your Way to Cash mastermind. The more revenue we generated, the more we cut our offers down, meaning we were able to streamline what we sell so that it's easier to sell those offers. It's easier to talk about our journey. It's even gotten more clearer than it was before because it's simpler. It's the membership or the mastermind. That's pretty much it. Now we have courses and other events, but each of them leads to one of those other offers, right? So that makes it a little bit simpler. Now we get creative. Okay. We get creative with our marketing. We don't necessarily want to keep switching up our offers all the time. We want to make our offers better. We want to combine offers. We want to make sure that people know how they can get the most value. So you want to have not a confusing menu. So it's like a confusing menu is like, I sell 57,000 courses. Why? Like if you don't have a large audience and you're not doing the volume play where you're selling a ton of stuff for cheap, then you need to, or for an inexpensive rate, I shouldn't say cheap, but for an inexpensive rate, then you need to make sure that you are selling a few items at a high value. And a big part of our funnel is content. Since we've started using YouTube, I mean, how many of you guys bought a ticket to the tour because you watch our YouTube channel, comment YouTube? It literally is the best way to build trust because unlike TikTok and Instagram and all that other stuff, which is dope, if you're selling something that's higher ticket, you want to make sure that you are doing long form content. And what you do with your short form is we take our long form and we make it short form. But what we're really doing is we are proving our expertise over and over and over again through long form content, and we're building community in the process. Then I get to know people. So I know Fiona comments on a lot of our YouTube videos. So I've seen her name before. So when I meet her on tour, I'll be like, oh yeah, girl, I know you are. So that's cool. And it's been an amazing journey. And I've actually felt like with YouTube, I feel like we're serving more with YouTube than we ever did by going live on Facebook alone. Like your content's lifespan, okay, lasts so much longer on YouTube. The lifespan, meaning that a video that I put out on YouTube 5 years ago could revive and go viral. That could never happen with a Facebook Live. Ever. I've never seen that happen with a Facebook Live. So it's just so valuable for so many reasons. So you want to have not a confusing menu. If I do like these 1,000 things, I sell these 1,000 offers. You want 1 to max 3 solid offers. 1 to max 3 solid offers. And let me just help you guys out who are growing your audience. It's like not as big just yet. And then we're going to get into the sales process shift. Okay. For this tour, you guys, our posts on average got between 1 and 3 likes. 1 and 3 likes. But our tour is selling out. Do you hear what I'm saying? You have to get committed to the process, not the results. This is another big mindset shift. There's so many, like if I could just give y'all all of my mindset shifts, that's why I got to finish my book, Think Your Way to Cash, because it's literally about the mindset shifts to building a 7-figure business sustainably. Like, one of the biggest mindset shifts I had to make was be more committed to the process than the result. Meaning, I'm going to keep posting about this tour, even though nobody's liking these posts. I'm going to keep posting these carousels, even though nobody's liking these posts. I'm going to keep telling people about the wait list, even though the numbers are going up one by one. I'm going to keep posting about how we're almost sold out in this city. Like, even though that post has no likes, I'm looking at the post. Go on my Instagram right now at the Ashley Nicole Show. Look at these posts. 1 like, 2 likes, 0 likes. If the likes aren't hidden, 6 likes. Promotional posts don't get a lot of traction, but they do get a lot of sales. They do get a lot of leads. So people are like watching that, not saying nothing, but going to that checkout link. So what do you want? Do you want to look successful or do you want to be successful? I'm more committed to being than appearing, if that makes sense. Like even with my brand, back in the day, we didn't have a fancy website and all that. I wanted sales. I wanted leads. I was more committed to being, thank you, Rod. Shout out to you, my brother. Rod said, I just gave you some likes. Yes, shout out to you. Like, yeah, give those posts some likes, okay? Like those, you got to be more committed to doing them, like being for sure. Like you want to be more committed to, I'm gonna be successful, even if it doesn't look like I'm successful. Like it's just more important. And if you get committed to the process, everything gets better because success compounds. Consistency compounds, and it compounds whether you are consistent at good things or you are consistent at bad things. If you are consistently complaining, that is going to compound into you living the life of a chronic complainer. If you are consistently speaking positivity, that is going to compound into you living the life of someone who's positive. If you are consistently pitching, that is going to compound into you getting sales. Let me tell you this too. My first 6-figure year, the first 6 months of that year, made close to nothing. But you know what I did every single day? Pitched. The last 6 months of that year, on the back of the first 6 months of that year, 6 figures. Because I did not give up when it didn't look like it was working. So many people fail at business because they give up when it doesn't look like it's working, because they're not getting the adrenaline, and they start spending all their time doing the activities that will get them like quick wins, but won't get them consistent revenue. So yeah, if you make a funny video or you repost a funny video, you're going to get a ton of engagement, but you're not going to get a ton of sales. Unless that video is funny, but it links back to your brand somehow. If it doesn't, you're not going to get the sales that you want. Okay, so let's talk about sales. Another big shift you need to make. I'm giving y'all some bonus shifts. I think this video is called like the 3 shifts. This is like the 4th one. You need a written, predictable sales process. You need a written, predictable sales process. This is why people join the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership, because we literally give them a sales process. We show them how to build and how to write out their sales process. We teach them what they should be doing to understand sales. It's an amazing program. One of the best programs that we've ever created, ever. Should I focus on virtual pitches? So when I say pitch, I should actually define that word because it means different things to different people. I am saying that you are going into someone's direct messages, or you're going into someone's LinkedIn DMs, or you're sending out an email to someone asking them to get on a sales call with you and work with you, or you're asking them to buy something directly in the DMs. When I say pitch, I mean you're in a one-to-one environment where you are giving someone the opportunity to turn you down or to accept your offer, and you know exactly who that person is. Now, here's the thing. Another way to use the word pitch is what we call giving a conversion talk, where I may sell to like 100 people at one time and take them directly to a checkout process. But traditionally, when it comes to B2B selling, you're like, even today, even for the tour, I sent 40 DMs. Let me tell you what I did today. This is why Behind the Build is so good. I sent 40 direct messages today to get people to check out for the tour. Hey, saw you were on the wait list. You didn't get a ticket. What's up? Then my team sent another 40 direct messages to get people to get their ticket for the tour. Then, I did a voicemail call to over like 800 people who were on the wait list for the tour. Like, we are pitching. We're pitching. We're not over here making Facebook posts alone. We're pitching. We're going directly to the people that like the post. Hey, I saw you like the post. I didn't see that you bought your ticket. What's up? In order to do that, though, and this goes back to number 1, the only type of person who can consistently put themselves out there without seeing results is the type of person who believes that it is going to work out in the end, that consistency is going to compound. You have to keep doing the activities that you know work. Now, some people are like, well, how do I know the activity is going to work? That is where coaching comes in. And that is where tracking your data comes in, because we know, okay, for our last tour, it sold out, but it took 2 weeks. And before the tickets dropped, we did about 20 posts. So this time we want to sell out on day 1. So let's do 70 posts. Let's do 80 posts. Normally we do 1 reel a day. Let's do 3 reels a day. So you need to know what you did that either did or did not work, or work to the level that it worked, so that you can increase the things that did work and decrease the things that don't work. And if you get a coach like myself, I'm going to be able to tell you that this is what works for me. Like, this is what we've seen work. And then we have a lot of data on what actually works. Okay. And so let's talk about the sales process shift. Most people do not have a written sales process. They just don't. And the problem with not having a written sales process is that you don't know how you make money. This is for my person who just gets referrals. Where you at? You know where you're at. If you don't want to identify yourself, that's fine. This is for my person who, like, every now and then someone comes to their website, but they don't know where they came from because they're not tracking it. Every now and then they make a sale and it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I made the sale today. But like, where did this person come from? How did they find me? This is for the person who's like, yeah, I get referrals, but they're inconsistent. Like, you don't have a sales process. You don't have a way to sit down at your desk in the morning on tomorrow morning and say, I'm going to generate sales today. And these are the activities that I'm going to do every single day in order to generate sales. And this is a really good point, Gregory. You can't scale what you don't track. A lot of business owners are trying to figure out, oh, how do I scale my business? When really they need to say, how do I grow my business? Because the only way you can scale a business is if you have a consistent process that you could put more money, more time, more effort behind. And if you do that, you can multiply results. So if you run ads, and we've spent over $300,000 on ads. So I'm like, okay, great. We spent $300,000 on ads. That 300,000 can be traced to at least $4 million in revenue. So if we were to spend 800,000 on ads, we probably could trace that to about $7 million or $8 million in revenue. Optimal results would be 8 million. Even on a bad day, though, we could probably get 6 million out of that ad spend. We know that. Why do we know that? Because we already, we're already seeing those results. We're already seeing those results. So when you say you're ready to scale your business, that means, hey, Ashley, help me scale my business. And I'm like, okay, great. What did you make last year in revenue? Oh, I haven't made any revenue. Okay, baby, we're not talking about scaling then. We're going to talk about how do you build your business. And by build it, we need to test an offer in the market, and then we need to see what they're responding to. And then we need to tweak the offer and tweak the price point until we have product market fit. That's the first step to building a business. After you build it, then we want to grow the business. So if you're making over $100,000, we want to grow your business. We want to get that business to $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. And then once we hit that at first $1 million in revenue, now we have product market fit. Now we have a lot of data, assuming you haven't drastically changed your offer year over year or drastically changed how you do business. We have enough data to now scale the business, meaning what is your sales engine that we are going to put more money, more time, more people behind so that we can astronomically increase results. And you're really able to scale when it's with not even one-to-one, but when there is some level of consistency between how much more money we put in and how much more money we're going to get out. If it's not predictable at all, like I could put another 7 million in ads and nothing, like it's not going to grow in a way that's predictable, then we're not ready to scale. If we're still trying to test out our offer, then there could be things we could do to make the offer better, etc. But like we may not be ready to scale that. Okay. So you really want to know what you're doing here. So let's talk about sales process. Now, this is a simple sales process. Pitch via Instagram DMs or LinkedIn DMs, lead them in that pitch to a call. When they're on that call, we try to close them into one of our speaking contracts or an offer. This is a simple 3-part sales process. Now, there may be other points to this sales process. So when it's really built out, it may look like before we pitch, it may look like we're pitching via LinkedIn, and this is our LinkedIn pitch process, and this is what that looks like. Then we're going to go to a call. On that call, this is our sales script, and we're going to have a written sales script. Then we're going to go to closing. After we close them, then we're going to give them the contract, and they're going to sign the contract. Then we're going to send the invoice. Then we're going to, like, you can build it all the way out, but at base level, most B2B consultants pitch, call, close. Now, you can replace pitch with ads, and you could do advertising, call, close. So you could run ads to the call and then close. That could happen, right? That could definitely happen. So that is something that you can do. Y'all, we got 30 minutes until ticket sales end. Let's see who just came onto the tour. Michelle, I see you, girlfriend. Shout out to you. Alicia, I see you. Siobhan, I see you. So like this is something that you could do as well, is like getting it to a close. Now, here's what I think. You should join us. These are just like a few of the tickets from the tour. This is really from Atlanta. And then right here, this is a picture from Chicago. That's Tracy. She actually won a 6-figure expert award. She was also in our mastermind. She was able to land over 6 figures in contracts in less than 6 months being in our program. She is incredible and has her PhD, law degree, all the degrees. We met in law school in Chicago back in the day. And it's always good when someone it's in person. Yes, Gregory, it is in person. So this is an in-person tour. It's always good when someone who knows you, who's known you for years and years and years and years, trusts you with helping them grow their business. I'm so excited too. Here's what I want to do. Put your questions in the chat. I'm going to do some Q&A. We're going to rock this thing out for a little bit. But if you're interested in coming to the tour, I want you to check out this incredible video about the Speak Get Ready to Cash tour. And then if you have any questions about growing your business, landing corporate contracts, the mindset you need to scale, balancing it all, because I am a mom, let me know and I'll answer those questions right after this.
Last year, we went on tour, and let me tell you, it was a movement. Every city sold out. Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, DC. Experts showed up, locked in, and walked away with strategies that transformed their businesses into high-ticket offer powerhouses. And this year, we're doing it bigger, better, and more impactful. Because in 2025, it's not just about landing speaking gigs. It's about building a corporate offer that brings in $25,000 or more per client. And we're going to help you do it live and in person at the Your First $25,000 Corporate Offer Tour. And listen, if you've been struggling to land high-ticket corporate deals, this is your moment. So let me break it down. What really happens at this tour? This is not another feel-good event where you take notes and go home overwhelmed. No, this is a live, in-person workshop where we build your corporate offer in the room. You will create a ready-to-sell $25,000 corporate offer that clients actually want. You will learn exactly how to pitch, price, and position your offer so companies and clients say yes. And you will leave with the confidence and strategy to start selling this offer as soon as you walk out the door. Last year in Chicago, we had attendees sign clients in the room. One entrepreneur came in with no corporate clients and walked out with a deal on the table. In Atlanta, we met a woman who was landing government contracts but felt stuck. She came to the tour, restructured her offer, and now knows how to pitch one-to-one without going through the lengthy RFP process. Her business was able to grow. In Houston, we came right after a storm, and instead of canceling, we showed up and created a safe space for experts to learn, connect, and get breakthroughs in their business. We didn't just talk sales strategy, we talked mindset and then gave them a plan to secure corporate deals and did cash infusion strategies so that they could leave knowing exactly what to do to get more money in their business. In Dallas, we went deep into brand positioning. And in Dallas was where we were introduced to none other than Pastor TD Jakes. Yes, real connections happen as a result of the high caliber experts that came to the room. And let me tell you about DC. This was the largest stop of the tour, sold out first. There was a line out the door to get in, and we did an exclusive bonus session just answering questions before the event even started because the demand was that high. This year, we are adding New York. And as of right now, New York has almost the most people on the wait list. Look, there are only 50 seats per city. On the day tickets drop, it is only for $99. If you want to sell high-ticket corporate offers, if you're tired of guessing, tired of spinning your wheels, trying to figure it out alone, this is your chance. Come and spend one day with me in person and walk out with a bulletproof corporate offer that's ready to sell. Whether you're selling to huge companies, whether you target small business clients, or anyone in between, if you sell services, have an expertise, you need to be at the Your First Corporate Offer Tour. Get on the wait list now, or if tickets are already open, get your seat, because once they are gone, they're gone. I'm coming to a city near you, and if you don't see your city, fly to the nearest one, because this is not a movement you want to miss. I'll see you in the room.
Yes, shout out to Speak Get Ready Cash media department, all right? Because they are going to make us a video, child, if they do nothing else. All right, so I got a question, and yes, I can't wait to meet you in person. All right. What shifts did you make in your offer that allowed you to scale your impact without sacrificing your time or diluting client value? That is a great question. Great question. New York in the house. I got my ticket. Welcome, welcome. So I would say, one, we have a mastermind, which is a program that I coach in. Those clients are my private clients, but I will also say that we needed to have more experts in that mastermind. So we grew it so that other people could do the deliverables. So in the beginning of your business, at least in the beginning of my business, I did most of the client facing deliverables. The biggest shift that I made in order to scale without burning out was having other people who could do client facing deliverables, other people who could actually, talk to my clients and work with them and give them business strategy and give them advice. And the only way we were able to even launch a membership, which is a lower ticket offer for our company, was by having another coach who could coach in the membership. Because if I can't coach in the membership and have a high ticket mastermind, like, you just have to be careful about making sure that all of your clients feel that they're getting the value that they should get. I sometimes can do pop-up Q&As in the membership, which I've done, but there's no guarantees that I'm going to do that. So we have another competent coach who coaches in the membership so I can focus on the mastermind. We also have, even in the mastermind, of a roster of experts. Like, we have a mindset expert who's a medical doctor. We have a LinkedIn expert who's gone viral on LinkedIn more times than I can count. He gets large consulting clients. He speaks on some of the largest stages in the world. He's incredible. He's a consulting expert. We have a speech coach who works on the deliverables, like whether or not their stories are good, their stories are hitting, all of that is in there. And then we have some other programs that I want to launch. And the only way I'm going to launch them is by first having another partner who can do the client-facing deliverables, because your time is valuable. And also, not just valuable, you need to figure out where your time is best spent. And I still am a big part of the funnel in terms of the content. So I can't be, it's very challenging to be producing the level of content that we produce if you're not also serve every single client alone. You can serve every single client, but you can normally not do it alone. So you want to make sure you have a team that can do client deliverables. And that's the same for if you're selling to corporate. Other consultants need to be able to do those talks. Other consultants need to be able to have meetings with the clients. Other strategists need to be able to make the plan. And we couldn't do that until we had a framework for getting clients results. So once we had that framework, other people could come in and they could get people results the same way that we could by following our framework and getting certified and getting trained. So that is incredibly important and very helpful in order to ensure that people are getting what they need without you burning out, because you otherwise can very easily, very, very, very easily burn out. Okay. So that's good. So if anyone else has a question, let me know. I'll do something I haven't done before. If you have a question and you want to come on live, let's see if I could do this. I probably can. Let's see. If you want to ask a question and come on camera and introduce yourself, that could be great. By the way, people come on our YouTube channel, which we're streaming this to YouTube, and they end up getting clients and people meet them and all kinds of things. So just come on, say what you do, and then ask one question. I posted the link in the chat. So if you want to come on, you can copy and paste that link and come on really quickly and post the link in the chat. But I wanted to answer some other questions that I was getting about the tour. So one question is like, is it in person? Yes, it's in person. Another question that I got was, okay, it's in person, but it's in person, but is it for people who are just starting out in business? Yes, it is. Okay. It is for people who are just starting out, but it is also for people who are more established in business, because the way that we teach, everyone will be able to understand it, but we don't teach down, meaning I'm not going to talk to you guys like you don't know anything. Because even if you're just starting out, you're still smart. Like, you're an expert, you understand certain things about business. And the corporate selling process is a lot simpler than our B2C selling process. That was another thing that, you all see me do a lot of the B2C sales. Like, you see me running ads, you see me on live, you see me with the YouTube channel and a video team and all this stuff. That is a B2C thing. B2B, you can do all that, but you don't necessarily have to. So it is a lot easier, I think, to sell B2B than B2C. And then some people do both. And if you're going to do both, that's fine. But you just want to make sure you have a process for not, you need two sales processes then. That way you're not overlapping too much. Okay. All right, guys. So I don't see any questions or anyone requesting to come on the video live and ask a question. I know it's late, so some of y'all may be like, I am not in a position to come live, and that's okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll play the recap video one more time, and if I don't see any more questions in the chat, or okay, I just saw a question in the chat. What does your content creation process look like? So I record 4 to 5 times a month, and there's a couple of things. I have the DJI Osmo. So for our show Behind the Build, I'll just like record that show with my Osmo, and then I'll send it to my editors and they'll edit it. If I'm doing a content day, I try to do 2 to 3 long form YouTube live videos and then 60 short form videos. And I basically will have a launch in mind. So we launch monthly, sometimes every other month. So I'll know, okay, we have our Your First Corporate Offer Summit coming up. Cool. I'm going to do a content day. And on that content day, my goal is to create reels that are going to help push the upcoming Your First Corporate Offer Summit. So that's like our event that we do quite often. Now, because I know that that's coming up and because I know my goal is to promote that particular event, then all of the content is going to be related to that event or answering questions about landing your first corporate offer, selling to corporations, things people should be doing now, offer makeovers, how I would redo an offer if I was this, testing out different offer concepts, but all around that particular topic. That way, if I go viral, it's in alignment with what we sell and we can get hundreds of leads. A big mistake that we made was not not always putting out content in alignment with our offer. Because we typically have a launch coming up, almost all of our content is pre-launch content for an offer that's coming up. So we need to make sure that content is kind of in alignment with that. Okay. This is as a wellness coach for those with, okay, how can I start thinking about my corporate offer? So I don't know if you're in the membership, but if you are, there's actually a corporate offer GPT that we give clients, and that's going to be like a really easy thing for you to do with that. If you are not in the membership, then I would think about looking up competitors in the wellness space. I would have a wellness offer. I wouldn't say that I help people with all these different things because companies are going to look at that and say like, okay, well, what if our people don't have that? We don't know if everyone has that. We don't know who has that. But I would say a wellness offer, which is just general, like how to avoid burnout, how to avoid stress, how to make sure that you're taking care of your health, even with a demanding, busy career. They can all, something that more people can relate to. The more people that can be helped by your particular offer, the more revenue a company is willing to spend because it impacts more capital. Okay. So I want to keep that in mind. All right. So you want to, even if you go to a college, if you're like, okay, I work with Native American students. Well, that's great. But maybe that's 500 students. If you say I have a anti-bullying service, well, then now we're impacting 5,000 students, 20,000 students. And so I'm going to have a bigger budget to spend on that speaker than a speaker who's super, super, super niched. So you should be specific in your topic, but depending on how you're doing it, you want to think about how you're doing it. Yeah. So you may have the offer needs to be something that companies are already buying. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. And then you want to be able to have competitors. So there needs to be other wellness speakers that they're already paying. So that's how I would look at that. Okay. So hopefully that is helpful. And I know you're coming to the tour, so it's something we'll definitely dive into deeper there. All right. Welcome to the stage, Rod. Glad to see you here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Had a quick question. You offered to come live, so I'm gonna ask, as it relates to like getting speaking offers or, having the ability to do that. I'm kind of torn between like delivering like a virtual keynote and, posting it on a YouTube or a podcast or things of that nature, because I feel like it might take away from my ability to actually do it. But I've heard that it helps. So what's your advice on that? Like putting together the speech and leaving it out there for the world to see as you're trying to get some of these opportunities?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. But one of the things that I'll say is something that I heard on the Gary Vee podcast, which I really liked. He basically puts out all of his content. So, but he does not give the same speech twice. And one of the things that I'll say is we're very similar. Like even for the tour, we put out the entire Houston tour stop. Everybody could see it. And we put it out last week. And this upcoming Monday, we're going to show the entire 4-hour video from the Atlanta tour stop. And we never really tell people if we'll use we don't sell the replays or anything like that. We keep them. But now that we have a YouTube channel, we found that putting out content that's 3 hours plus actually helps with our watch hours, and thus YouTube will pay us for that content. So it's been very valuable to put that content out. And what I found is that as people were watching it, they were buying tickets for the tour. So it didn't make them say, oh, I'm already seeing it, so I don't need to come, because every city is different. And I think that one of the things that we found is every audience that I speak to is different. So I always pray like, Lord, help me to speak to everyone that's here and everyone that's going to see it afterwards. Well, everyone that's there at one event is not going to be the same group of people that is going to be at another event. So every time I speak, it's different, even if the principles are the same. So you should have a framework where we have something called the currency of competence. And the framework is mindset, beliefs, actions. But if I give that talk to college kids, it's a very different talk than the one I'll give to business owners, which is a different talk than the one I'd give to the board of directors of a Fortune 100 company. So every single time that I give that talk, it's all in the same framework, which makes it easier for me to prepare, but the talk is different. So I'll sub out different stories, or I'll sub out different examples, or I'll sub out different methodologies that they can utilize to use it in their day-to-day life. So it's the same, but it's different.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was a great question. Really good question.
Thank you.
Appreciate thank you. Oh, and let us know what you do.
Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty much a brand strategist. I help people to audit their brand to find the gaps and deficiencies so that they can monetize in a better way.
Awesome. Love that. Well, can't wait to see you in Atlanta. I saw you tag us on Instagram, so we'll definitely be sharing that. I'll see you soon.
For sure.
All right. Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. Yeah. Abundance versus scarcity. Yeah. And the better you guys get at speaking, even, you'll realize that you don't have to give the same talk. You don't have to memorize it word for word. I'm not too big on scripting. I know it definitely has benefits for webinars and things like that, but I'm not huge on just scripting it out word for word. I like having an outline and then kind of leaving some room. Knowing what you know now, what words of wisdom would you offer to the version of yourself? Ooh, come on with this deep question. What words of wisdom would you offer to the version of yourself that was striving to hit your first 6 figures? Very good question. So I would say one of the things that I would say to the version of myself striving to hit my first 6 figures is stay excited. You're doing a great job. Like, if you all could see me when I was trying to hit my first 6 figures, I was so excited about everything. I was just excited. Like, every time we got a sale, I was excited. Every time someone bought something, I was excited. Every time I made a post and like someone would DM me about it, or they'd buy even my book, I was excited. So I would just say, don't ever lose that excitement, because if you do and you start treating making this kind of money common, I think that you also will just lose a bit of humility, and you kind of need that. The other thing that I would say is don't be afraid if the people around you shift. It's kind of tough. Like, I believe life has seasons. You may be in a grind season where you don't have as much time to spend with your family. You may be in a season where you're losing friends because you can't talk all day and things are just different for you. But don't worry about any of that. And the last thing that I would say is just don't worry about anything. Like, really develop the discipline to avoid worrying, because everything really does work itself out. Every dream that you think is deferred, every opportunity that you think you didn't get, every stage that you didn't get chosen for, don't worry about it. You can actually develop a mental discipline to avoid worry. And that is exactly what I would tell myself to start developing earlier. In recent years, I've started to develop this mental discipline, and I repeat the scripture to myself: be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication, and the peace of the Lord will overcome you. So whenever I don't have peace, I know it's because I am filling my brain with worry instead of faith. And that is it's just crippling my creativity. And I don't want anything to cripple my creativity. Entrepreneurs make money from our ability to be creative and to be bold and to be free thinkers. And all of that does not happen from your personality. It happens from developing a mental discipline. So if I could have developed that mental discipline earlier, I could have enjoyed the journey even more. I robbed myself of enjoying certain parts of my journey because I did not develop that mental discipline even earlier. Okay. All right. Awesome. That was a great question. Such good questions, you guys. It's a fire live. I need to come live more late night. That was good. Then I see Gregory in the chat. What's going on?
What's going on, Ashley? So I just wanted to comment. The last time I watched you on YouTube, there was a video, you were being interviewed, and the sound was so bad. I had to do things to try to tweak it because I wanted to hear what you were saying.
Oh, no.
And then next time, Rod, who just got on your live, invited me. He's like, she's live. I'm like, oh, wait, I know her. I'm subscribed. So my question, I think the last person kind of answered it. It's that deep question, right? So I'm going to ask a different deep question. if you are just stepping out of your role, you just hit that brick wall. You're stepping out of your role. It's week 4 of entrepreneurship. You're starting all over again. And you realize the first 3 weeks, everything not to do, giving away your time, not niching down, trying to help everybody, trying to do all the things, but feeling paralyzed and not getting started. Like, what did you do to really get focused and start doing the things? Like, you didn't start here, right? Obviously. So how did you get here from where you were when you first stepped out? Because I remember you talking about your story where you stepped out from under the law umbrella.
Yeah. I would, one, I had to give myself a schedule. The reason why corporate works is because you have a schedule, and a lot of entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs because they want freedom. But what they don't realize is discipline is freedom. And without that discipline and without that schedule, without those guardrails, a creative person will just waste time, and then their day will be gone from them instead of them mastering their day. And so a schedule for me needed to look like every Monday, I'm going to do content. I'm going to do content. I'm going to schedule content. Every Tuesday, I'm going to pitch. I'm going to pitch every single Tuesday. I'm going to make my Calendly link to schedule every single sales call on a Thursday. Every Friday, I'm going to follow up. And so I just gave myself a schedule, and then I gave myself targets. And then I set a simple rule for myself, which was, I will not go to bed unless I did one thing to move this business forward. And in my mind, that meant I pitched at least one person. I pitched at least one podcast. And so I spent the first few months just pitching clients. It was not about pretty Canva posts or any of that stuff. It was pitching clients, literally pitching clients. It was every single day pitching clients 80% of the time. 20% of the time, I was pitching for visibility opportunities because I didn't have an audience. So I needed to get in front of other people's audiences. So I was pitching podcasts, I was pitching TV, I was pitching to speak in Facebook groups. I was just pitching to get myself out there. And the first person I hired, I didn't have them do any of that admin stuff. Like, I think people just get an admin, but it's like, if you don't have a whole lot of demand, what is the admin managing? So the admin, my first admin, I didn't have a lot of demand. So it wasn't like I had such a booked out calendar. I'm like, hey, I need you to help me to get some demand, and then you can manage that later. So she was pitching. She had to pitch 300 people a week. So you build out the system to help people pitch. And that looked like having sample emails she could send out, having a system that she could actually send it out through. And then when I brought her on, she had to send out 300 a week. We used HubSpot. And that was literally what we did to kind of get focused. Because the first couple of weeks, I'm just wasting time. Like, and it wasn't good. So I'm like, I have to get discipline. Every day had a theme. Every day had a goal. And then once I knew that pitching was the thing that was going to get us out there, I hired someone very inexpensively on Fiverr, or she was a VA from the Virtual Assistant Savvy's Facebook group. And whatever I could afford to, I think I paid her $200 a month at that time. That's what I could afford. And so then she came on and she pitched. That was the only thing she did. Everyone had a sales goal. Even now, I pitched 40 people today. My team pitched like double that on my behalf. So like everyone on our team sells. Like everyone on our team sells. I think that's a huge mistake of entrepreneurs, is just not focusing on the thing that's going to drive the sales.
That's so good. And you hit me with that discipline immediately. You're right. I did quit for freedom, and then I had too much freedom.
Yep.
And, you know, Dr. Seuss wrote all his books with the constraint, 50 words or less. So you just confirmed exactly what I've been avoiding. The very thing I've been avoiding is the thing that is going to get me to the place I want to be. So thank you for that confirmation, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so good. Such good questions. Thank you. Shout out to the brothers for coming on live. I appreciate that. I've been trying to get people on live here so we can make it more like a talk show. And shout out to you. Hopefully the audio is better. We've been oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much we've been working on our home setup for me to do it without having a huge video team and all that stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys understand that. And typically that's how it works, is that the very thing that you're avoiding is the very thing that if you mastered, everything else would get better and easier. But it's the thing that we avoid. And so I try to just eat the frog, like do the hardest thing, the first thing in the day, and give yourself enough desk time where you're undistracted. An app I'll tell you guys about is Opal, OPAL. It allows you to block social media and any other app on your phone. So if you want to do deep work for 2 to 3 hours a day, which is sometimes all it takes, honestly, The rest of the time, you could be on your phone, pitching on LinkedIn. You could be sending voice notes, but deep work can really help. Opal will block social media for you in that as well. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. 5 minutes, you guys. In 5 minutes, ticket prices double for the Your First Corporate Offer tour. I hope you all got value tonight. We had such a good time. It was so much fun. I'm going to see if I can find some tickets for the tour. Now, the first tour stop that we're actually going to is Chicago. So Chicago is the first tour stop. Let me see if I can find the photos from Chicago last year. It was such a good time. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at what I just found. I've been finding all kind of stuff for y'all tonight. This is incredible. Yes, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The ticket price goes up. 5 minutes. So if you get your ticket, let me know. This is look, that's my daughter, Christelle. She came on tour. So Christelle definitely comes on tour. She already asked me like, okay, mom, am I going to be going on tour again? Yes, girl, you can come on tour. She's so fun. She's going to be speaking at Speak Your Way to Cash Live earlier today. This was our incredible volunteer team. We do have volunteers for each tour stop. This was our Chicago volunteer team. And honestly, right before Chicago, we found out that my nephew passed away. And this incredible team actually prayed for me and was like, you always pray for everyone else. We're going to pray for you. And they like covered me in prayer, which I didn't. I was so just taken aback by that in a good way. And it turned out to be an amazing tour stop. That's me, Chris and Christelle. Those are my parents. They will definitely be at the Chicago tour stop. And that's my brother, Vincent, and my daughter, Christelle, in the photos. I told you guys about Tracy. This was one of the books that they got when this lady joined the membership. We did an amazing hot seat together. Oh, that was so much fun. It was so good. Definitely come out to this tour. Even looking back at these photos, I could just see all the memories of the tour. I signed people's books. This was actually a young woman. Her sister owns a medical practice, and she landed a client in the room and was able to help that client lose so much weight. And she met them at the tour. She landed several clients from just being in the room in the Chicago tour stop. It was just incredible. Like, these are some of the folks who came to the tour. We had such a good time. It was just so much fun. Like, the whiteboard was out, vibes were happening. Chicago was such a vibe. Chicago was such a vibe. Okay. So I'm really excited about Chicago. After Chicago, I think we go to New York, which is a brand new city. And just in case you are wondering, Ashley, this sounds amazing. I should come to the tour. 2 minutes, you guys, until ticket sales, not close, but the price does double. So if you check out after this price, the price does double. Michelle, I see you. Tatiana, shout out to you for getting your ticket. Alicia, Gregory. Oh, great. Gregory, I'll see you in the building. Ralph, I think it is. Ralph, are you on here? I'll see you in Atlanta, hometown. So we go to New York. After we go to New York, though, we're going to the DMV. So let's see what was going on in the DMV last year. The DMV was such a vibe. The DMV, y'all, it was so many. The DMV had so many people in the DMV, first of all. Like, look at the DMV. I don't know if so this was incredible. I remember the question that this woman asked me. She asked me, how do you deal with pricing, when you're a Christian business owner? And I had to basically explain to her that you don't sell salvation, but you should sell your offer. I think Christians sometimes really struggle with making money and charging and pricing because we just want to help everyone. So that's fine. Pray for people for free. But if you have an offer, you should feel fine selling your actual offer. We had sometimes we have time to do individual photos at the tour stop. That's Leslie. She's in the mastermind. Bring your books. Okay. So many people bought their books and I was able to sign their books, which is incredible. So much fun. We had some fellows in the building. This was our DMV tour stop. As you all can see those little reserve signs up there, we're going to actually reserve your seats. So if you get a VIP ticket, we reserve your seats typically in the first 2 rows, sometimes 3, but normally the first 2 rows. And you get a printed 60+ page, Your First Corporate Offer workbook, which is printed. Okay. It's printed, physical copy. You get lifetime access to that. And like we just did some Q&A on here, we're going to be doing hot seats in person and Q&As where I'll remap out your offer, answer whatever business questions you have. If you're VIP or platinum, or we don't have platinum. So if you're VIP, we actually choose who we do the hot seats with from the VIP pool. We also take their questions first, just to make sure everyone with the VIP ticket gets their questions answered. I did not even realize she came to the tour, but she's a member of our mastermind now. That's amazing. We had so much fun. DMV was so packed. People came an hour early, and we definitely were able to do like a bonus Q&A with them even before we got started. So it was a good time. And I like the venue too. I don't know what venue we're at this year. I think we're at a different venue this year, but that was a fun venue. There's Chris working hard. We got him some help this year. We just had a team member join full time, which is amazing. Y'all, we literally, do you see this projector? We set up this projector ourselves. We set up this projector ourselves, y'all. Okay, it is 12:01. Ticket prices have officially, I think they've doubled. Let me see. If there's a glitch in the system, y'all may still have time. Let's see if it is. You can tell I've been going to this website all day. Let's see. Okay, ticket price just went up. Now, price will increase again. Okay, so you now have until midnight tonight to get your seat. Okay, so that was the DMV. We had a good time. We're going to be done with all these tickets. Now, if you're in Houston or Dallas, or you know anybody who is in Houston or Dallas, can you please tell them about the tour? I think Dallas and Houston, Dallas may be like 60 or 70% sold out, but Houston, last I checked, was only like 55% sold out. So we definitely want to make sure Texas sells out. We want to make sure people are coming to our Texas tour stops. Last year, both of them sold out. We just want to sell them out a little bit faster if we can. And we had such a good time in Dallas. We went to, yes, I am live right now. What's up? What's going on? We had such a good time in Dallas, you guys. We ended up going to the Potter's house. It was just so fun. And we had some heavy hitters come out to the Dallas tour stop. It was so much fun. Such a great event. I think someone made me cry in Dallas. There's Kara Lee, the podcast queen. Her episode is on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. This beauty right here, I believe it's called the Scholarship Lady. She does scholarships for Woman Evolve and a few other places. Really incredible. This was our Dallas group. There's Andrew, who was a member of the mastermind before. Christelle, she came everywhere. Okay, my daughter be coming to these events. And we have slides. We have the whole nine. It's such a good experience. And you see our reserve seats up front. Chris is there. We're teaching. We're using the whiteboards. We're doing all the things. So if you are someone who's like, yo, I know I need to be in the building for this tour, get your ticket. Get your ticket now. Do not delay. Where else did we go? We went to Houston. Let's see if we have some Houston. What we got from Houston? Yeah, please. Yes, please do. I so appreciate it. Thank you so much, Gregory. That is so kind. Yes, if you got any audience in Houston, let me know. We came to Houston last year, y'all, right after that big storm that they had, and we did not cancel. We ended up giving everyone like a safe place with Wi-Fi, and we ended up ordering them food. The tour typically does not have food, but because they went through that big storm, we did want to make sure they did that. And all of our volunteers still showed up, even though several of them are without power. It was just an incredible event. You could just see the love. Like, I don't know, tour just does something different to you. I mean, you could just see how excited people are, how happy they are, how light they are, how free they are. I personally believe that these tours do they do a lot more than just teach you business strategy. I believe they do something like reviving the hope of the weary entrepreneur. I think people leave more excited about their business. They leave more energized by their business. They leave more interested in their business. Oh, and this is what I wanted to show you guys earlier. Look at God. Look at God. So this is kind of how we show our client journey now. And we have a how we serve slide. And we have our self-starters, our explorers, the elite mastermind, and then our Lux clients. So we put the name of our events in here, and then we'll put the membership in here as well at the explorers level. But it's a little bit more like the stairs to success with Speak Your Way to Cash. So that's what I was talking about earlier. We do showcase that as well. And this is now a pending trademark of ours, the Impact Income Continuum. So you'll hear us talk about that on the tour. Every city sold out last year. Like, that's incredible. And this year we're going to do the same thing. I'm so excited. New York is definitely already sold out. I don't even got to look at the numbers because it was already like doing a lot. So I am sure that New York sold out. And then I showed you all a little bit of Atlanta, but Atlanta was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite tour stops. First off, Atlanta has some of the best venues. That's just number one. But this was our Atlanta tour stop. We had so much fun. It's going to be at the same venue this year. And you'll probably see Christelle doing a photo shoot again because that's what she does. Oh, hold on. Okay. There we go. So definitely a good time. You can kind of see the vibes in Atlanta. We always have a lot of people who are interested in coming to Atlanta. It's always a really big tour stop for us. It's always a place where people get a lot of information. They get a lot of help. And I just love the networking vibes in Atlanta. We always have a good time. There's just something so special about it as a city. These are our incredible volunteers from Atlanta. Nicole, it's so interesting. Nicole volunteered in Atlanta and now she's on our team. She's traveling with us to all the tour stops around the country this year, working as a part of Team Speak Your Way to Cash. We have some amazing volunteers every year. This is our group in Atlanta. We had a huge group, and my mastermind clients came to the Atlanta tour stop as well. We had such a good time. This was such a critical moment. We actually talked about how mental health impacts your business journey, and I was able to talk into her life and really show her how everything she's gone through is actually going to make her exactly who she wants to be. And she's already that person now, and she just needs to walk in it. I think that people in Atlanta also were just very vulnerable. So if you're coming to the tour and you bring some real questions and some real stuff, sometimes we can work through some pretty deep concepts in a short period of time, which I love. That's Laura. She's just an incredible member of our community and someone who I just deeply respect. But yeah, my dress was too long. I had to like pin it up to get into it. But Atlanta was a really cool, really cool tour stop. Great city, great time. And I know that Atlanta also probably has already sold out. So I haven't even checked yet, but it probably has. So if you can get a ticket still for Atlanta, then you can get in. Otherwise, it may already be sold out. So you guys, we've had an amazing time. This has been an amazing live stream. Please share this out with people. If you know someone who needs more information about what we do here, I'm going to go ahead and play this one more time. And then we will peace out.
Last year, we went on tour, and let me tell you, it was a movement. Every city sold out. Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, DC. Experts showed up, locked in, and walked away with strategies that transformed their businesses into high-ticket offer powerhouses. And this year, we're doing it bigger, better, and more impactful. Because in 2025, it's not just about landing speaking gigs. It's about building a corporate offer that brings in $25,000 or more per client. And we're going to help you do it live and in person at the Your First $25,000 Corporate Offer Tour. And listen, if you've been struggling to land high-ticket corporate deals, this is your moment. So let me break it down. What really happens at this tour? This is not another feel-good event where you take notes and go home overwhelmed. No, this is a live, in-person workshop where we build your corporate offer in the room. You will create a ready-to-sell $25,000 corporate offer that clients actually want. You will learn exactly how to pitch, price, and position your offer so companies and clients say yes. And you will leave with the confidence and strategy to start selling this offer as soon as you walk out the door. Last year in Chicago, we had attendees sign clients in the room. One entrepreneur came in with no corporate clients and walked out with a deal on the table. In Atlanta, we met a woman who was landing government contracts but felt stuck. She came to the tour, restructured her offer, and now knows how to pitch one-to-one without going through the lengthy RFP process. Her business was able to grow. In Houston, we came right after a storm, and instead of canceling, we showed up and created a safe space for experts to learn, connect, and get breakthroughs in their business. We didn't just talk sales strategy, we talked mindset and then gave them a plan to secure corporate deals and did cash infusion strategies so that they could leave knowing exactly what to do to get more money in their business. In Dallas, we went deep into brand positioning. And in Dallas was where we were introduced to none other than Pastor TD Jakes. Yes, real connections happen as a result of the high caliber experts that came to the room. And let me tell you about DC. This was the largest stop of the tour, sold out first. There was a line out the door to get in, and we did an exclusive bonus session just answering questions before the event even started because the demand was that high. This year, we are adding New York. And as of right now, New York has almost the most people on the wait list. Look, there are only 50 seats per city. On the day tickets drop, it is only for $99. If you want to sell high-ticket corporate offers, if you're tired of guessing, tired of spinning your wheels, trying to figure it out alone, this is your chance. Come and spend one day with me in person and walk out with a bulletproof corporate offer that's ready to sell. Whether you're selling to huge companies, whether you target small business clients, or anyone in between, if you sell services, have an expertise, you need to be at the Your First Corporate Offer Tour. Get on the wait list now, or if tickets are already open, get your seat, because once they are gone, they're gone. I'm coming to a city near you, and if you don't see your city, fly to the nearest one, because this is not a movement you want to miss. I'll see you in the room.